Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second and hopefully not last Hypeimmune reviews, where hype comes to die. I'm a school writer and today we're going to talk about Asimov. So this is it. What a better way to start a new page in a new history than to tackle the big honcho, the giant, the only one, Asimov. Everyone who likes science fiction either heard of him or got something influenced by him, the creator of the three robotic laws, the starter of how we see robotics and cybernetics. His influence is gigantic and it will take an entire book to at least scratch the surface of his influence. So, after all this time, is the giant of science fiction still a giant? Is he overrated? Let's find out. Or rather, you find out, since I've already read his book and got to my conclusions. So, Nightfall is both the name of the short story originally written in 1941 and is the herald of the anthology book where I found it. The book contains 20 stories written by Asimov, each preceded by a 1 or 2 page snippet of the author himself talking about his creations. The first short story is about Atom 77, director of the Saro University who has a slight problem with Teremon 762, an audacious reporter. Atom 77 published works about the impending doom of the world, while Teremon 762 not only spoke against said works in his newspaper, but also had the gall of visiting Atom 77 in his observatory to know what is happening, and he may find things far worse than he expected. Okay, let's get this out of the way as fast and succinctly as possible. Asimov's written style is just bland. Hey, don't even think about grabbing that pitchfork. Everyone who knows Asimov and literature knows it. It's like pointing out that H.P. Lovecraft's style was basically copied from Edgar Allan Poe, and that he was a massive racist even for this time, with a really shitty messy up life, but that isn't important right now. His written style offers the bare minimum on a must-know basis. He barely describes people and places, and while he does offer a better description of objects and technology, there isn't anything more elaborated, sometimes reaching frustrating levels. For example, this is him describing a set of stairs in Nightfall. Hearing was out of the door, and Teremon was at his heels. The stairs stretched below them in tight, circular sweeps about a central shaft, fading into a dank and dreary grayness. That's it. No deeper details on how the stairs look, the dreadful air, the tension, nothing. It gets worse when it's time to describe alien or futuristic machines. So if you're looking for elaborated descriptions that convey deep emotions, seek anyone wait, why are you booing me? You know him right. Asimov himself admitted in his book, twice. Yes, he does talk about how he wishes he could write and such, but honestly, this isn't bad. In fact, I'd say that this is a double-edged sword that helped him achieve such broad popularity. After all, if you are not redoing your writing incessantly to add more descriptions, it's insanely faster for you to finish a story, and it's infinitely faster and simpler for the reader to finish it. The style used in this book is mostly focusing on dialogues, from which he delivers all the exposition he needs. But honestly, reading these stories made me a bit sad because there is a kernel of what he focused on his style more. There are witty and funny passages, and one of his stories does brush with something of a cosmic horror with a core or raw emotion. It makes me think of what if he worked on his style, but that is irrelevant now. So it's one of those books that it's easy to read through an entire afternoon. But one thing is being easy to read, and the other... cohesion. Since each story is unique and independent of each other, with 1 or 2 most of 3 themes in each one, the narrative structure is simple and also quite straightforward. Asimov's stories mainly focuses on specific situations and don't need to time skip much, nor he tries convoluted styles. Though sadly, due to the brevity of the stories and the lack of good descriptions, immersion isn't the best as well. But the same simplicity offers a good brisk pace and unbothered reading rhythm. Some of said stories will be in third person and a few will be in first person. Every single story has a small presentation by Asimov himself, who talks about his creative process, the people in his life who helped him create or the hurdles he had to go through. I've always found these snippets to be one of the, if not the most interesting aspect of these stories, to delve deeper into the mind of another writer during his creation process. And Asimov seems to be, well, normal. He was sure of his flaws and perks, he knew he couldn't reach some spots, didn't think much of his writing until took nearly every aspect of his life and so on. I believe there was an author who said that there were two kinds of science fiction writers, those who are good at the fiction, writing, style and so on, but bad at the science, and those who are good at science, innovative ideas, speculative fiction, science itself, but bad at fiction. And if no one said the specific phrase, then I claim it to myself. Nonetheless, if Asimov had a bland style, he had lots and lots of really good ideas to compensate. Asimov was indeed a prolific author that hit a broad spectrum of ideas, and most of his stories vary in depth and complexity. Some will offer deeper themes of mankind pondering its own existence, or wondering about the future. Others are simple and silly, if not downright parodies. Each time, there is a careful construction of the world around said idea. How would it be if mankind lived underground? What kind of society would emerge from humans living in a tiny meteor? Science fiction mixes with philosophical and societal musings about our role not just within the universe but within our own world. Biting societal commentary, staring at what mankind does for survival. And honestly, this is what I love most about science fiction. The what ifs. Not just thrown like stock questions, but with a deeper base built around them. And he was fond of actually interesting twists. For example, what makes a man push himself to the brink of death in a desperate struggle? How simple is the joy of seeing the world outside? There are so many interesting ideas. Aliens that communicate through light, automated cars that think and have feelings, societies linked through portals as if they were phones. Of course, having such a scattered set of ideas blasted you at point range almost guarantees that you won't like some of them, but this is also inevitable. Me? I really enjoyed it. I was surprised at how, from time to time, there was a twist that caught me by complete surprise. And many were the styles of fiction offered. Biological horror, flirting with the apocalypse, societal injustice, and more. I wish more people read Asimov's short stories, because there is a lot more than Foundation and I, Robot. Interestingly, I'd say that Asimov's character dances between the line in his style and his ideas. On one hand, their scant description doesn't offer much to the brain, and the shortness of the stories won't make them remain long in one's mind. On the other hand, the focus on dialogues more than deliver the brunt of the characterization. It's actually good. Nothing as superb as Shakespeare or Machado de Assis, but good enough to pick up the pace and compensate for the style. Sometimes things get a bit too convoluted, especially with the technicians and scientists trying to explain hairy or complex situations. But then Asimov's teacher side shines through and he is able to at least deliver things succinctly. So, do I recommend this? Absolutely. It's simple to read, It offers wondrous ideas and a facet of the writer few know about. That's it for today, and see you all next week.